This is Chit and Chat, the encouraging one another podcast. Interviewing musicians, comedians, sports personalities, and many, many other individuals all over the world, sharing their story of encouragement, inspiration, what they've been through, what they've gone through, as well as amazing musicians from all over the world. Kick back and relax. For some amazing people you probably have never heard of and their story. Each of us have a story of hope, of courageousness, of inspiration. This is Chit and Chat, the encouraging one-on-one podcast. It's always about encouraging others. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another fun, exciting, encouraging episode of the Chit and Chat Encouraging One-on-One podcast. Just a fun time to have a chat with some amazing people from all over the world. And if you heard any of my episodes before, it's just fun. It really is encouraging with amazing music. I like to ask my guests who's encouraged them, who's inspired them, folks who have pushed them in their careers. And I'm so excited to have you back. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and follow to the podcast. Whatever platforms you're listening to, I'd appreciate it. I will give you a brief preview of today's episode. I'll be sharing some great music by a good friend of mine, Corey M. Coons, a musician across the border in Canada. I'll be sharing his song called Leaving. I really like his style of music. And you can check out his website, corymcoons.com. It has links to his songs and his videos. Also featured today, I'll be sharing a song by Rocky Michaels, a singer-songwriter from California. Haven't had a chance to interview him yet, but we're getting it scheduled. I share his song called Firefly. And this song reminds me of my days in Arkansas and the fireflies and lightning bugs. I miss those days. And a part of his video, he's swinging on a tire swing, and it just reminded me of the good old days. You can check out his website at rockymichaelsmusic.com. And today, my guest is Ron Mallow. We'll be sharing one of his songs called The List Goes On. And a little bit about Ron. He is from Flintstone, Maryland, has been singing for over 30 years. I'm excited to hear about who's inspired him, who's encouraged him, and hearing his story about who he is. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Chit and Chat Encouraging One-on-One podcast, Mr. Ron Mallow.
Hey, Jody, how you doing?
Not too bad. Yourself?
Pretty good, thanks.
You go see?
We went to see Jesus Revolution.
Oh,
excellent! It's the second time we saw it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's on my to-do list. But
yeah, yeah, I hear you. It's worth seeing, though.
Awesome, ladies and gentlemen. My guest today is Mallow. Is that correct?
Mallow, just like a marshmallow.
Mallow.
Or
gotcha.
Mallow cup. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining me today.
Oh, you're more than welcome. Thanks for having me.
I got a quick plug in for Caden Jordan, who connected this DJ promoter, and he's got his own little channel, radio show. So the CadenGordonShow.com. Thanks, Caden, for hooking us up today. Before we dive into some fun conversations, I like to throw 5 icebreaker questions at my guests. You got your thinking cap on?
We'll see. Go ahead and throw.
This portion of the broadcast is brought to you by Tequiza. They are a local taco shop here in the area, and they have 5 kinds of tacos. Getting 5 questions. Question number 1: what's your favorite caffeinated beverage? Coffee, cola, tea, or something?
It's definitely coffee. Cream and sugar.
Cream and sugar. All right. Yeah. I cut back on the sugar. I had now. I'm good to go.
Yeah, that kind of covers it. That's kind of cheating.
Yeah,
cheating on sugar.
Double dipping with the sugar for a while. Number 2, what's your favorite meal to cook and why?
My favorite meal to cook. Wow, I like to cook a lot of things. I don't know. I guess a quick breakfast, just sausage and eggs and things like that for breakfast. I make breakfast every morning. I usually get up around 4:30, 5 o'clock, and uh, make my breakfast and get my day started.
Nice. Number 3, you get an unlimited supply of one thing for the rest of your life. What would it be and why?
Oh, one limited thing. Wow.
Much as you want.
Well, that would be Jesus, first of all. I'll take as much of that as I can get,
Amen.
as much country music as I can get. But it would probably be chicken.
Chicken.
Fried chicken.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Good. And number 4, if you could live anywhere in the world besides the place you live now, where would you go move to?
Well, I would probably move a little closer to Nashville just because I could be around what I'm plugged into.
Okay. Got a lot of down there?
I've got a few. It'd just be nice to be down there, permanently.
Right. And number 5, final question. Do you have any hidden talents that people know about?
Well, I could roll my belly like a belly dancer, and I'm a guy. So, yeah, that's something I usually don't say, but I've never been asked that question, so I have to be honest.
There you go. Those questions weren't too bad, were they?
No, totally painless.
Yeah. I'll get the image out of my head here eventually. Can you give a little brief bio about Mallow? Mallow. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I am a father of 2. I did corrections. I worked at a maximum security prison for years, and been a machine operator. And I'm just that guy that works hard every day to make a living. And right now, we're actually demolishing a building for construction, and so we do a little bit of anything.
Okay.
Anything and everything. I also have a lawn care business that I run since I've gotten out of the prison, life. Not that I've been incarcerated, but I guess I am a little bit by being there. But
yeah,
so have to do something with your time. I've retired early and just started into a business to keep me busy.
Where'd you grow up at?
Believe it or not, a place called Flintstone, Maryland. And like I said, yes, it actually has a stone quarry. So Fred and Barney's on the side of our fire truck, so it's a small rural community, but I love it. I'd moved away whenever I graduated high school, and within a year I came back because I loved it. I just love country.
Pretty a lot of trees and kind of off the grid a little bit up there.
Oh yeah, I live about a mile off of the main road, and I wake up every morning to beautiful sunrises. I mean, and it's trees all around us. We're pretty well secluded.
Nice. Musically inclined family. I know you being a singer. Did you get that from your mom and dad, or just kind of how did that come about for you?
Well, believe it or not, like I said, even when I grew up, not the place that I'm at now, but when I was growing up, we lived probably, 3/4 of a mile off the road, and there wasn't a whole lot to do. So we had this mixed up music in our family that my dad listened to Hank Williams Sr. and my mother listened to Elvis and Fats Domino. So I got the whole gamut, of music. And that's kind of how I learned to listen to it and got into it so much. And then whenever I was in 4th grade, there was a teacher we had named Sharon Schaefer, and she started these poem writing contests. The kid could win a big poster, or they could win a small poster. If you had the best poem or story, then she would give you the big one. And if you came in second, you got the small one. Well, that started my creative writing, and I've done it ever since. So without even knowing, she inspired me to learn to write and do music.
But my next question, That's that. Who inspired you or encouraged you to do what you do? That's a 2-for-1 there. Nice job.
Yeah, yeah, that started out like I said with the poetry and turning into the songwriting and everything. And as I got older and just wanted to be around music, do anything, got into a talent show here and there, and you kind of just get the bug. I mean, you either do it or you don't, and I guess it's either for you or not. But yeah, that's how I got started.
What was like a talent show? You just sing songs? You was a particular person you like to sing songs from?
Well, back then, all I knew, like I said, was Elvis. So I did "You Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog," and I was like, 10-year-old kid, and you know how that goes. I mean, you've seen 10-year-old Elvis kids, so I was that bad. So, but it got me started.
Yeah. Moving
Yeah.
forward to today, how would you best describe your music style? You just kind of sing anything or country or just whatever?
Well, I mean, I'm the guy like everybody. You got to do what the people want, and it's kind of more like maybe some of the '70s rock and the a little bit of the '80s, not the hair metal, or whatever. I mean, I like that music at that time, but mostly I'm still into the traditional country a lot. It's a little bit for me to get into the new stuff, and I like it, but to me, it's kind of like '70s soft rock, and they call it country. But for me, I'm a traditionalist. I'm into the kind of the Randy Travis and the Keith Whitleys and Alan Jacksons and Cody Johnsons, people like that. I mean, that's kind of who I really like to listen to. But
I'm 52. I love 80s country. George Strait, George Jones.
Oh yeah, and I sing all of those guys. I love them.
Nice.
Well, and as you said, that was how I ended up. Like, we're talking about this now. That was what led into my first release this year. Was my Addicted to Haggard and Jones. Because I respected those guys so much. Their singing and everything. I mean, because they were stylists. Today, I hear a lot of bands on the radio, and it's like I don't know who they are, or they sound like each other. But when those guys came on the radio, you knew immediately who you were listening to.
Oh yeah, immediately. I mean, yeah, oh my god! My grandpa's favorite was golly, it was Marty Robbins.
Oh yeah, El Paso City and all those. Yeah, he was a stylist. I mean, they had the old nudie suits and everything, and you just kind of miss that. I mean, but like Waylon Jennings, all he had to do was start playing the guitar before you ever heard him speak. You knew it was Waylon Jennings.
My dad was a highwayman. He loved those guys.
Oh yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah, the only thing better than one of them is putting 3 or 4 of them together. Yeah. And that's what they did.
It's like your whole your whole Southern meal. You had fried chicken, you had the watermelon. Those guys are all
the cornbread. You had it all.
Somewhat, you worked at a prison. You have mom. Was there someone who taught you good working values that your mom or dad?
Well, I think it used to be like now you ask a kid, but whenever I grew up, you told the kid and the kid did it because there was something to follow if you didn't follow that. And we were poor growing up. So we had gardens and we split our own wood. We had to go into the woods and cut it and bring it home and, cut it and stack it and all that stuff, and grow all your own food and do the canning and everything. So that gave me a work ethic. Well, I started writing songs probably at the age of 10 or 12, starting to cut my chops. But the songs that I sing today, I guess, was probably, I don't know, it's probably early 20s, I would imagine, somewhere around my early 20s. Decided to put the pen to paper and take it a little more serious and go out and start playing and, doing things like that in the clubs and any functions, that I could get into. I was doing them. I was doing like 3 days a week, the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then all of a sudden, you have kids come along and all of a sudden you got to make choices, so kids became the priority. And now I have the availability to do what I need to do or whatever I want to do, really.
Your songs, life experiences. I love asking musicians how they come up with songs and how's that for you?
Almost everything. I mean, every once in a while, like I'll write a song, just like with the Addicted to Haggard and Jones. It was kind of a tribute to the people that kind of led me into it, that inspired me. And so it's kind of real life, and at the same time it's kind of your own thoughts of people that you may not even have met. But most of my songs that I do are inspired by real life. I mean, like I did one called "The List Goes On," and I did two versions of it. One's is a ballad, and it's under actually like the List 2 movie on YouTube. But my regular one is "The List Goes On," and it kind of was me growing up, and my mom and dad didn't have a great marriage, and then later in life, I ended up where my wife and I had grown apart, and we got divorced, and it was just like the list goes on and on. So many things you should have done that you didn't do, and it's like the list goes on, and that's just the way it goes. I mean,
Right.
life goes on. But then I have one that I wrote about my brother, and it's of his passing. Whenever I was 20 years old, he was 23, and he was in a car accident and died. And it was like that inspired me to write that. So a lot of things that I write are actually things that happened in my life.
Okay. It's
Things that we can all relate to. We've all lost and loved, and it's just that's what you write about.
Yeah, and this podcast is about getting people's story and what they've gone through, and who. I believe everybody has a different chapter or different chapters and different stories. So that's why I love talking to people.
Yeah, and we all have, somehow the same events happen, but they all I don't know, I guess they all press on us in different ways. Sometimes, it seems like people are doing fine with whatever's happened to them, and you find out later that they've really struggled with it. They've just hit it well. Other people like myself, things happen to me, and the initial thing, is bad, but because I do write, it's an outlet for me. It's kind of a therapy for me. So even when things are bad, I get to get that out and get it on paper.
Mm-hmm.
The sharing, it's the hard part, because that's, your story, and to give it to other people and to be vulnerable enough to put it out there. That's the hard part for me as a writer. One is you're going to be criticized or critiqued, or someone might actually like it, so that's what you hope for. But whenever you put it out there, you don't know how it's going to be received. So that's the hard part as an artist.
I believe a lot of songs can be and are very therapeutic and help you
Oh
kind of
yeah.
step away from reality a little bit and just kind of breathe a little bit. Dive into the song lyrics.
Yeah, and like I said, from where I grew up from, kind of writing songs, when people look at you and it's like, you know, everyone has a pickup and everyone's out hunting and doing the things that country boys do, and you don't tell people that you write, because that's kind of like, what do you mean you write? That doesn't even make sense to people in the country. You
Right.
write songs. I mean, you write poetry, but that was me. I did all the country stuff, but that was my outlet whenever I had downtime. When no one was around and I had quiet time, I was able to write, and like I said, that led me into recording and, performing and everything else. So it really opened me up.
If someone came to you and said, Ron, can you collaborate with any person in country music on a couple of songs? Is there a particular person you'd love to dive in the studio with and make an album with?
Well, I would guess someone like Jackson Dean. He's from Maryland also, and Luke Combs and Cody Johnson. Those guys are country, and that's kind of what I do.
Okay.
I think when people listen to my music, they're always saying, wow, that's country. I mean, and they're always wanting that new country. And I'm like, well, we don't have new traditional. I'm sorry. This is just what I write now, so. But yeah, those guys, like I said, I think they're kind of bringing country back. I think it's something that people are missing. I think that what's being played now is going to be, it's going to hit with the youthful audience, the 16, 18, 25-year-old kids.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm beyond that. So I write for people more my age. I've had different experiences in life. So, my songwriting is going to be different than someone that's writing at 20 or 25 years old.
Right. In your experiences, what's the biggest problem you have encountered in your journey of music? Is it all you kind of
Uh,
seen?
Getting doors open, being outside. Nashville is so tight
Mm,
that it's hard to get your foot in the door. I mean, I've met a few people. I recorded AOK Records, and Adam Knight I mean, he's the producer there, the owner of AOK Records, and he's got his finger on the pulse of everything. He's up for like the Christian producer of the year and everything. He's in with I don't know how many different country artists, and still it's hard to get people to give you that break. It's hard to get someone to listen because they're always looking for maybe a look. Maybe they don't even care about the music. They'll find you the song, which is not who I am.
mm.
I'm the guy that this is what I feel, this is what I write, and hopefully people like it. But I'm not someone that, that I can't be 25 years old anymore because I'm not. And, my look is my look. It's a God given look, whatever it is, good or bad. I don't try to fit a mold. I try
Right.
to be who I am. I want to be genuine.
I've had a chance to interview a lot of independent musicians, and I just really like how they go balls to the wall. They sing anywhere they can, write any song, and I just love talking to those folks who just the best they can to name themselves.
Yeah. And like I said, I guess fortunately for me, some of the people that are doing it, they're starving artists, as they say. I mean, they're just throwing everything they've got in the hopes of, having someone listen. And so many of them that are a lot more even talented than the people that are on the radio today can't get a chance. Because, I mean, if you ever listen, and I'm not knocking any of them because they're all great talent, but you heard of Hank Sr., and you've heard of Hank, and you've heard of Hank the Third, and then you have another one, and then you have Mel Tillis, and then you have Pam Tillis, and then you have Loretta Lynn, who is a cousin, to Patty Loveless, Crystal Gale, and it's like, it's a family thing. If someone gets in and can keep within the circle and do what they're supposed to, it's just a family tradition, as they say. If you get one person in the door, you can get five. But getting your foot in the door,
Yeah.
that's the hardest part.
When I first heard that your song, "The List Goes On," I'm like, dude, this is a country voice. I mean, you can just tell. It reminds me of the good old days of country music. So I love this song.
And the guy at AOK Records, like I said, my producer told me, he said, if you had been here 20 years earlier, you'd be living in a lot bigger house. So, so I'm writing songs now that are, that are true to me, but trying to put a little more flavor on them as to where they'll appeal to the younger people. You know what I mean? So that it's true to me, it's true country, but trying to write it in a style that's acceptable to them too. Hello.
I love technology.
There you go.
I do the question again. It's upcoming projects you're doing.
Oh yeah. Like I said, I'm still writing new music, and as of right now, I did a documentary soundtrack for Tafadswa Mamba for Africa. They're doing some project that he's working for, and they asked me to do a song for them. So that's kind of neat. It's something I didn't think would happen. I met him at the studio when I was in Nashville. And like I said, I'm still writing projects, other songs and things, So, yeah, I'm always working, always writing.
And what was your Christmas one you're working on?
Well, the Christmas one is one called Mary Had a Little Lamb. I mean, when you hear it, you think of the little children's story. Mm-hmm. But it's Mary had a little lamb who grew to be the great I am. He didn't come to rule the land, just the heart of every man. He wasn't Mary's only son, but he was the chosen one. So it's just like putting a spin on something that's familiar. The familiarity catches your attention, but then you kind of shift gears and take someone on a different direction.
Gotcha. Any career, have you received any encouragement along the way? And maybe perhaps you were at a point where you're like, is this really working? Should I quit? Should I keep going? Anything encourage you to keep going?
Oh yeah, I mean, early in my career, like I said, it was a choice I had to make between family and my music. and that's just something I know everyone says you got to give up everything. Family's always first, that's just the way it goes. So I had kids to raise, and that's what I did. But a place in Nashville, independent label that was under MCA for George Strait, tried to get me down there, but it was just at the cross time that I was there and trying to raise kids. And like I said, I wasn't one of these wealthy people that could walk out, and have that money. Because back then it was like $100,000 to do an independent label. And if you got onto a major label, it was like 1.3 million. And everyone says, oh, you can just borrow that. And I'm like, yeah, that's not how it works. If you have someone to fund you, that's great. If you're Garth Brooks and have a rich dentist that puts $1 million up, that's the story you don't hear about Garth. But yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's a struggle. And I had to make a choice. But there was independent labels that wanted to record this and that, but there again, you got to put up so much money, or you got to do showcases, and which means you got to leave your family. So I'm kind of getting at the point now to where I still really enjoy recording, and I'm going to keep on putting music out for the fans because I love it. I have a following, of people that want to listen to it, but I'm really getting into that really songwriting, area. I just really enjoy the songwriting, and the songs are what lasts. So I want to be the guy that puts some songs out that maybe even, years down the road, somebody will pick one up whenever the music comes around to something that they like, So just kind of, like I said, I guess they always say, songwriters are a weird bird, and kind of in that aspect, I guess I am, that's just the way things go. Like whenever Randy Travis came out with that song, It's Just a Matter of Time. Well, it sounded like it was a fresh new country song, written in a different way. And when you look back, it was like 80 years old. It was an old song that they just refreshed, So music's timeless. I mean, people like what they like.
That's so true. And any song you want to share, let me know on the podcast, and just get your music out. And I just love sharing music. This podcast, I play 3 or 4 songs from musicians I talked to, and throw in the interview here in the middle. So you're more welcome to. I can share any songs you want, and others, and sharing music.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if you could play my Addicted to Haggard and Jones, that would be awesome. I'd love people to be able to hear that. And like I said, I have the List Goes On, and that's kind of an up-tempo song. And that song actually is rewritten, as I said, and it's just not really so much intended for a release, but I wanted people to hear a different side of it. And it's under the List 2 movie. And it's just the ballad version of The List Goes On. Okay. So if you could play any of those songs, would be great.
Yes, sir. Thanks for the time. I know we had a couple of technical difficulties, but we pushed through. Probably called you live on the East Coast. I'm on the West Coast, and
yeah, and I mean, this is a great thing. Like I said, I never thought, just like here, I don't think about being on the East Coast and someone from the West Coast even being interested in what I'm doing. And it just it gives you goosebumps, to think how music brings people together. Just like I said, being from the East Coast, going to Nashville, going in to record, and while I'm there, I meet this African guy, and I mean, he's straight from Africa. I mean, he doesn't look like people here. He's got the dreads, and he's built like a Greek god. I mean, he's lives in that land, and he lives off the land, and his name's Tafaz Wamamba. And I'm thinking, where in my life would I ever have this experience, to meet this guy, and then for him to say, can you do a song for my documentary? I'm like, how unlikely is that? So that's the thing of music. The songs, we don't know where they come from. We sit down and we write. Even if we can write our experience, you never thought that you would have that opportunity. You never thought you'd have that opportunity to share it with people. But, that, like I said, I just appreciate your time also, sharing the music that I've been gifted with and been able to craft to put out for other people to hear. To me is a gift. I'm sharing it with that, but you're doing me the favor. So I appreciate that.
Hey, you're welcome. It's probably a God thing, he connects people in weird ways and weird paths, and
Amen. Amen.
I started.
It's a big world, but it's really small too.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
But thanks you, Ron. I really appreciate it. I wish you and your family nothing but the best, and may he continue to bless you and your music, and just be safe out there and your time.
And the same to you, and God bless.
God bless. Take care. I'll tag you and just keep it going.
All right. Thanks again. Bye.
This is Ron Mallow. The list goes on.
Well, I had a list of things to do, of things I hadn't gotten to. Out of all the things to choose, none of them included you. Then I started turning to the booze. I had nothing left to lose, and I had nothing left to prove. Or so I thought till I lost you. And the list goes on, and the list goes on. I should have made you number one, at the top of my list, but you're the one I skipped. And the list goes on and on. So many nights spent all alone, never once picked up the phone to tell you when I would be home. Just another reason that you're gone. And the list goes on, and the list goes on. I should have made you number one, at the top of my list, but you're the one I skipped. And the list goes on and on. And as I lay here in the dark, with these tears that I have cried, I put my hand next to my heart to see if I am still alive. And the list goes on, and the list goes on. I should have made you number one, at the top of my list, but you're the one I skipped. And the list goes on and on. And the list goes on and on.
I'm adding a special song this episode, and this is Corey Coons, Leavin'.
Guess I'm leaving home tomorrow, feeling like it's time to go. Bound for LA in the morning, I think a change might do some good. I'm not looking for the bright lights, maybe just some peace of mind. Everybody needs some downtime. To work it out, it's only right. so tired of all the trying, not pulling punches anymore. The past is in my rearview mirror. I left that battle at the door. Now I'm leaving in the morning. I must be on my way, headed for tomorrow. It's time I make a change. Running out of reasons for the distance in between. And going through the motions, I'm leaving again. Hope I get to where I'm going. Can't say when it's gonna be. When the feeling takes me over, I'll meet you down that road away. I might get lost in California, make my way through Tennessee, but I'll be thinking about you, baby, and the only home I've ever made. 'Cause I'm leaving in the morning, I must be on my way, headed for tomorrow. It's time I make a change. Running out of reasons for the distance in between. Going through the motions, I'm leaving again. No telling why it's down to goodbye, no turning back around. We got to keep up the stride, no hiding behind this pride. Ain't gonna change, been counting the ways what's all been said and done. Not wearing me down no more. 'Cause I'm leaving in the morning, I must be on my way, headed for tomorrow. It's time I make a change. Running out of reasons for the distance in between. Going through the motions, I'm leaving again.
Are you craving some authentic, fresh Mexican food? I got two places for you. Are you ready? You got a pen and paper? One, Tequila Street. It's a mobile food truck located in Silverdale, Washington at 9571 Silverdale Way. They have some of the best breakfast burritos I've ever eaten. My favorite is the barbecued pulled pork burrito. They have other Mexican items as well, but breakfast burritos are amazing. You can reach them at 360-914-9152. That's Tequila Street. Also, at the Kitsap Mall in Silverdale, Washington, there's Tequila. There, they have over 5 kinds of tacos, burritos, chimichangas, and my favorite there, grilled jalapenos. Delicious. I know, I'm getting you hungry, right? Either Tequila Street or Tequila, and their number at the mall is 360-698-4335. Roberto and his staff are amazing. They're friendly, and their food
is delicious. Come on by, check them out. That's Tequila Street at 9571 Silverdale Way in Silverdale, or Tequila at the Kids at Mall in Silverdale. 360-698-4335. I'm telling you, they got some of the best Mexican food in Kitsap County. It's locally owned and operated and very, very good. See you there.
Craving donuts? Craving fresh made daily donuts? Lone Star Donuts. They have over 50 flavors. Sprinkles, no sprinkles. Filled, not filled. Chocolate, glazed, maple donuts with real bacon. Cinnamon rolls. They are so good, so light, and so fluffy. These are not your normal donuts. These are Texas-style donuts. If you know what been to Texas, nothing's small in Texas. Go see my friends at Lone Star Donuts, now with 2 locations. One in Silverdale, Washington at 1087 Maury Place. Their phone number is 360-204-5021 in Silverdale, or Port Orchard at 2649 Mile Hill Drive. Their number there is 360-443-2600. You can find them on Facebook as well. Lone Star Donuts. Life is happier with donuts. Donuts from Lone Star Donuts. This is Firefly by Rocky Michaels.
Hey, little firefly, see you glowing there up in the night sky. If only I could be more like you. So much darkness here where I'm going through. How do you display your magic light for all to see? I wish you could illuminate me. Then I swear he turned to me and with a grin said, don't you know we all have life within, yearning to be seen. It's how we attract the good from our very being. Oh, it's the spirit that shines from the inside out. So let your lightness overcome your doubt. And shine, your light shine. Set that firefly just like I do mine. Oh, you're fine and beautiful inside. Positively brilliant, no need to have it hide. Let yourself shine, oh yeah. Then he flew off in the night, and I watched him until he was out of sight. Well, I thought about what he had to share, how the light shines brightest when there's darkness everywhere. Well, those words they tagged along as I went on my way. And in my mind, I could hear him say, shine your light, shine. Said that firefly, just like I do mine. Oh, you're fine and beautiful inside. Positively brilliant, no need to have it high. Just believe in yourself now. You got the power if you just allow all to shine from within. Share that glowing light that you have always been. Let yourself shine. Hey, shine on, shine on. Oh, you are so beautiful to see. Show the world how you light up now.
Thanks to Ron Mallow for being part of the Chit and Chat Encouraging One podcast today. Just a fun conversation. And if you notice, the phone cracked out a couple of times, so I apologize for the crackly breakups during our interview. But it was a really fun time talking to Ron and getting his story. And check out his music. It's really it reminds me of the country of old. You know, growing up in the 80s and hearing good old country songs about trucks and dogs, and I just loved talking with him and getting really who Ron Mallow is. And also thank you to musicians who allowed me to share music here on the podcast. Also, subscribe and follow this podcast, and it's all about encouraging others, having fun conversations, just like you're having a cup of coffee with a buddy and just chitting and chatting about life. That's what we do here on this podcast. Thanks so much. See you next time here on the Chit and Chat Encouraging One Another podcast. This is Chit and Chat, the Encouraging One Another podcast. It's always about encouraging others.
In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.